Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing okay. For those of you who are watching for the first time, my name is Aissatou Bokum, and this particular series that I do on my channel is called Motherhood Unfiltered, where I bring you all the information and resources that you need as a new mom or a partner to a mom, or even pregnant women who are planning to have a baby soon, or women who are not pregnant and do look forward to having a baby. These videos are for you. And if you're a man and you're watching this, do not feel as though these videos are not important for you, because it's very relevant for you to get all the information and resources you need to support your partner when you go through the pregnancy journey, and even your sisters and your aunties, everybody. So whether you're pregnant or not, whether you're a female or a male, these videos are important to stay informed, to support whoever is next to you or who is related to you when they are going through their pregnancy or motherhood journey in general. In this video, I'm going to be talking about doulas. And the reason why I decided to talk about this is when I moved to the US and I was pregnant, I'm so used to seeing the kind of support that pregnant women get back home, that is in Africa, the Gambia, and mostly in every African country. Sometimes even when when you're back home, you're there with your mom. You always even go there and get the support that you need, or your mom will come over to your house to give you the support that you need through your pregnancy and childbirth. But when I moved to the US, I knew that this was not going to be possible. The time that I got the support I needed was from my aunt, who came from Philly when I delivered my baby, for her to support me with the baby. But during my pregnancy, it was just me and my partner. And in as much as I love him to bits, and we were there for each other, I knew that that was not going to be enough, because I needed someone who will also provide me external support in terms of certain resources that both of us needed or we did not know about, that they could point us out to. So I'm going to be answering a series of questions. Some of these questions were sent to me or asked by some of my friends and colleagues who wanted to know what my experience with a doula was. And some of the questions here too are also questions that I feel are relevant to this conversation, that will help me to provide you as much information as necessary. Just a disclaimer, this is not a medical advice, and if you're confused about anything, always feel comfortable, or ask somebody or ask your gynecologist. So let's get into it. Number one, who is a doula? So a doula is a trained professional who provides physical, emotional, and informative support to a person before, during, and shortly after delivery. Unlike a medical professional, a doula, they are not medically trained. They are just there to perform certain tasks, that is, to focus on helping you birth your baby, and for you to feel safe, for you to feel informed, and for you to feel supported. So there are different types of doulas, and we're going to get into discussing those different types of doulas and the different roles that they perform. But the very first thing that I wanted to clarify is the difference between a doula and a midwife, because I've had a lot of people and a lot of misconceptions when people think doulas are midwives. So doulas are not midwives, except if your doula is studying to be a midwife. For instance, my doula was a doula, but at that point that she was providing me the care that I needed, she was also a student midwife. So I got the entire package. But mostly, doulas and midwives are entirely different. Doulas are just not medically trained at all. They are not supposed to perform any medical tasks on you. For instance, clinical trials, drawing your blood, or reading your vitals. That's not their job. They're just there to give you emotional and physical support, advocate for you when you need it, and give you and make sure that you're not being taken care of. Especially, let's say in the US, where Black women in general do not, most times, find themselves not having a voice or not feeling safe to advocate for themselves when they're at the hospital or when they're talking to their gynecologist. These are some of the things your doula can do for you and support you with. So for a midwife, obviously a midwife is medically trained to birth a baby, so they go through all the medical training. So this makes it different from a doula, who is just trained to be there for you, like I said before, physically and emotionally. So what are the types of doulas? As to the best of my knowledge, I know we have birth doulas and we have postpartum doulas. So birth doulas are just there for you all through your pregnancy, down to labor and delivery. They're there with you in the in the delivery room to make sure that they help you with exercises that you need to relieve your contractions and your pains. They give you the support. They advocate for you when you need certain things at the hospital that you might not be in a position to ask for. This and many more is what my doula did for me. She was there for me during my pregnancy. She came for home visits. We did online visits. She will check on me to know whether I'm doing okay. She will call. She will send resources to me that she stumbles on and she feels is very important or relevant to my pregnancy journey. I remember the number of times that she will come to the house and we'll just do some exercises and she will help me to relieve certain aches and pains that I was feeling in my body. And she also came at one point to educate me about my birthing journey, what to expect in the delivery room, and some of the things we're going to be doing to help me go through my delivery process easily. And we also have postpartum doulas. For postpartum doulas, mostly they're only there after you have the baby, and they come to your house. They make sure they provide you the support that you need with taking care of your baby, cooking for you, cleaning for you, birthing the baby, all the other things that you might not really be able to do because at that point you're still healing from your delivery. Postpartum doulas will provide that for you. And one other thing that we have is both delivery and postpartum doulas. My doula was both a delivery and postpartum doula, so she was there during my pregnancy, my delivery, and she also came and did two more visits after I had my baby. They're not there all through the postpartum, but at least they come and visit you right after you have your baby to make sure that you're fine, help you with breastfeeding, help you with certain things around the house. I know a lot of mamas that come back home and they're struggling with breastfeeding to latch their babies. So what they do is they also perform those kind of tasks to help you with the best tactics and the best way to be able to breastfeed your baby without going through or having all that emotional stress when you just get back from the hospital. So, why do I think as a pregnant mama you should consider hiring a doula? Like I said before, for instance, me personally, I'm used to seeing all the support that pregnant women get. And when I moved and I knew that I was not going to get that support, it was just me and my husband living together, and I needed all the resources to just ensure that I had a smooth pregnancy. That was one of the reasons why I hired a doula. Sometimes some mamas would decide to hire a doula because they don't have enough information about certain things, hospitals, and even home birth, and they want to make sure that they have somebody who will give them all the resources and information and support that they need. And I think one other reason why I hired a doula at that point was when I was new here, first. Secondly, I wanted to make sure that when I go into the hospital and I was not in a position to say this and this is what I want, I will not be taken for granted at the hospital, and I have somebody who had a voice, who understood what I needed and how I wanted my pregnancy and delivery journey to go, to actually advocate for me at that point. So I think as a mama and you need all the support during pregnancy, get a doula. You need support in labor and delivery room, get a doula. You need support postpartum when you come home and you're struggling and you just want to heal and you just want to rest and you don't want to do anything and you want to take care of yourself physically and mentally, get a doula. That's what they're going to be doing for you. That's the kind of support they're going to be rendering you. And I'm going to also be attaching in the description some resources on how to get a doula, and why you should get a doula. This video is just based on my experience, like I said, but those resources should be able to give you professional and good information about that in general. Um, so I think, oh, one thing that I forgot to mention is, especially in the US, there's a lot of death rates when it comes to, that is, maternal mortality rates are high. And there's been research that shows that getting doula support during pregnancy and how that has actually reduced maternal mortality rates, especially in Black women. So that's how important getting a doula is. And if you're going to the hospital, you have a bad plan. If you don't have a doula and you just give the nurse your bad plan, there's a high tendency that they're not going to follow anything that's in your bad plan. But with a doula, what they do is that they make sure that they understand your bad plan in and out, and they're always there to tell them that this and this is what my client needs, and they're going to be there to advocate for you to make sure you get all that support that you need. So, what are the biggest myths about doulas? So, basically, most one major myth that I've had is when women say, "Oh, you only need a doula for a home birth. You don't need a doula for natural births." That is insane. First, you need a doula whether you're having a home birth, you're having um, a hospital birth, or whatever kind of birth that you want to have. you need a doula. And definitely, absolutely not, doulas are not only for natural births. If you plan on having a cesarean section, doulas are for you. If even at the hospital you do plan to have a natural birth and it ends in a cesarean section, your doula is still going to be there to provide you all the support you need. So no, 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 you need a doula regardless of what kind of birth you want to do, regardless of where you want to birth, and all of that, you need a doula. That's how important doulas are. They're just there to make sure that regardless of how your pregnancy and birthing journey is gonna be, they're there to give you the support that you need. So how does a doula support you during labor and delivery? So this is me giving my major examples. Before my labor and delivery, I already had a bad plan. So my doula and I sat and we looked at my bad plan. I explained to her what I needed. For instance, I wanted to bond with my baby immediately she comes out. I didn't want any medications for the pain because I wanted to do an unmedicated birth. We also talked about, for instance, vaccines that are given to babies when they're born, whether I want those vaccines or not. We talked about how I wanted my experience in the hospital. Did I want to be monitored on cables all over, or did I want to move around? So these are some of the conversations we had, and we also listed in my birth plan. So when I went to the hospital, my doula already had a copy of my birth plan, and she knew exactly what I needed, and she was there to advocate for me in ensuring that I get that. So when I just got there, I remember the nurses were like, "Oh, we have to monitor the baby. We're gonna put some wires and stuff." And then my doula was like, "No." She mentioned in her birth plan that she does not want to be monitored that way. We just want a wireless monitoring where she can move around so she's not stuck in one place. And I got that. They just had wires that will enable me move around, so I was not stuck in bed all through. And I remember we did a lot of exercises, breathing exercises, moving, stretching when the contractions were coming and how painful and crazy that period was. My doula was there with me. She was breathing with me. She was moving with me. She was feeding me. When we needed certain things to ensure that I had the most comfortable experience, she would request for it. So doulas are your voice at the hospital. And when you're going through delivery and that kind of pain, there are just certain things that won't come to your mind ASAP. And sometimes, too, you won't always be able to say or ask for certain things. So, this is where your doula comes, in addition to your partner or whoever is there with you, to make sure that you have the most comfortable experience necessary. So these are just examples. There are just so many other things that a doula can do for you during your birth and delivery. And I do remember when also at the hospital when my baby was about to come, I was laying. I had my feet up, and I didn't have my foot up. Sorry, I was laying sideways because I at that point that was the most comfortable position for me, and I didn't want to move. When they came in and the baby was like at the tip about to come, they wanted to, lay me on my back. And I told my doula, I am not moving. I'm going to stay here. And my doula was there to be like, she's not moving. This is comfortable for her. She's going to stay here. And that was how I gave birth to my baby. So doulas are your voice. They're your support physically, emotionally. So if you're considering it, do more research and trust me, it will be the best decision you make. So another thing question here is, what about after the baby is born? Does a doula help then too? Yeah, absolutely. A doula helps after the baby is born. Mostly you have postpartum doulas who are there for like several months after your baby is born and offering and giving you the kind of support that you need. And sometimes you have doulas that they have been with you all through your pregnancy. And when the baby is born, they come for like one or two visits to help you and see how you're faring, and also help you with breastfeeding to make sure that everything that you need you have. So yes, doulas are definitely, definitely there, um, all the way to postpartum, and they don't necessarily just go. They're like, okay, the baby is here, bye. That's not how it works. So yeah, they're definitely there during postpartum, even if it's not all through. But most times they'll definitely come and visit you to make sure that you're doing fine, and you and the newborn you're recovering well, and the newborn is also faring well. So how do you find the right doula for you? For me, I remembered I wanted a black doula specifically. And the reason I wanted a black doula is I wanted somebody that I could relate to. I wanted somebody that understood me, not only like as a woman, but understood me ethnically. And I wanted to make sure that I had somebody that was the same race with me, that when I said certain things about how I was feeling or anything, they wouldn't have to be confused about it because they know. So I got a black doula. She's the most amazing human being I have ever met. She is just the most beautiful person ever. I'm also going to put in the description a link to her website so you can check her out. She's just she was just the best. She offered me a kind of support that I don't think if I did not have, I would have been sane, because my partner was there 100%, but then just that extra support from her made all the difference. So what we did, me and my partner obviously went through all of this. We did the research, and then I stumbled on her website. I read it, and just how beautiful the testimonies were on her website, and how much information she provided to make sure that clients who were viewing her website understood what she does and how to reach her just took my attention. I'm a communications and PR person, and I think when it comes to branding yourself in the work you do, it has to be unique, it has to be 100%, and she had that. So the moment I saw her website, I told my husband, we're going to interview this lady. I think she's going to be amazing. I already feel it. She had such a calm and natural and cool spirit to her, and I knew we'll get along very well. When we had the interview, it just also it sort of like clarified, or it made sense why I felt very connected to her even before I spoke to her. But if you do not get that instinct immediately, and you're considering or thinking about what are some of the questions you want to ask, some of the questions will be, for instance, how many births have they gone through, how many, that is, how many women have they supported. You want to know how they're going to support you in general when you're in the delivery room, and how they're going to advocate for you. You want to understand what how long they have been doulas and what their experiences are in general. You also might want to know, for instance, what are their beliefs, because you want to work with somebody that you are not always like clashing in terms of beliefs and what you want to do. So these are just simple questions you might want to ask your doula, but make sure you do more research. It's always a personal preference. Make sure you do a lot of more research on questions that you feel are necessary to your journey, and you're going to ask your doula and get all the answers that you need. So another question is it worth the cost? Can doulas be covered by insurance or medical or Medicaid? So Medicaid is a thing in the US. If you're not from the US and you're watching this, it's generally insurance that's given by the government. But there's also private insurance. So do check if you're currently under health insurance, if they cover doulas. I know in some places, health insurance definitely cover doulas. For instance, here in the US, Medicaid covers doulas for about 8 visits, if I'm not mistaken. And in other countries too, definitely your health insurance should cover doulas. But make sure you do research, or you ask your health plan to see if doulas are covered. But it's definitely worth the cost, 100%. Like I said, it's going to be one of the best decisions you make, especially if you find the right doula. And it's also absolutely okay for you to get a doula, and then you feel like, man, this person is not providing me the kind of support, or we are not aligning at all. It's okay for you to drop that doula and get another doula. You don't have to be stuck to the same doula all the way through, especially if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So keep an eye out when you get a doula and they're providing you the support and you feel comfortable with them. It's okay to stay with them. But if you feel as though you got a doula and that doula is not doing what they're supposed to do and you're not aligning, it is okay to drop them and get a new doula. So don't even think twice about that, because you want to make sure that you get a doula that will be supportive to your journey and not really make your journey crazy. So the last question, what's one thing you wish more people knew about doulas? I think for me, what I would like for pregnant mamas or anybody watching this video to know about doulas is that it is not a luxury. Most people will tell you, "Oh, that's a luxury. You are luxurious. You have a doula. How are you even paying for that?" Like I said, your health plan mostly covers it, but doulas are not a luxury. They are the support that you need. And another thing also that I wish people will know is that you'd necessarily don't have to be like, "Oh, I have an OBGYN, so I don't need a doula." Or, "Ah, I have my partner. Why would I need a doula?" Trust me, all of those people play a key role in your pregnancy and delivery, but it is no harm to get the extra help that you need. And one thing or one way you can get that is with a doula. And sometimes doulas can be sweet and heartfelt. My doula is amazing, like I said, amazing individual. So these are just some of the things I wish people knew about doulas, that it's not a luxury. And secondly, it is okay to have your entire village around you and still have a doula. There is nothing wrong with that, and you should definitely consider it if it's something that you want to do. But yeah, that brings us to the end of these questions. Like I said, I'm trying as much as possible for my videos not to be long. I want you guys to watch it and get all the insight that you need. But thank you so much for watching. Do not hesitate to leave your comments down. Let me know what you think about this video, and possibly also put down what you want me to discuss in subsequent videos. I'm happy to share as much as possible. And also like, comment, and subscribe. Do not forget to do that if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed. But thank you so much for joining me again on this series of Motherhood Unfiltered. I will see you guys in the next video.